Fit Brain Club's Deborah Morse is here, and she's got a presentation coming up on building your own personal health plan. Welcome to the show, as always.
Thank you.
So tell me about building your own personal health plan. What would that look like? What are you going to be talking about during this presentation? What can people come away with?
Okay, well, we'll start with the whole premise of the presentation is cognitive reserve and neuroplasticity, and we want to be able to build that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is...
Hold on, when we talk about neuroplasticity, I know that's one of those things that's a very kind of almost a technical term that not many people or some people might not understand. What are we talking about when we talk about neuroplasticity?
Well, we're talking about the flexibility of our brain and how it uses its information. Mm-hmm. So it creates the synapses that comes through different parts of our brain. Mm-hmm. So we want to keep that super pliable and healthy. It's kind of like, you know, stretching.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that that's intact. But we need the cognitive reserve for the neuroplasticity to actually function properly.
Okay. And so when we see a breakdown of neuroplasticity, what does that look like in someone who's having maybe some cognitive challenges?
Well, at the very beginning, we maybe are having memory issues. Okay. Short-term memory especially. Okay. And that means that cognitive reserve there's no reserve because that's where we get those memories. So we start seeing the memory loss. Maybe we're not recognizing people. Maybe we're physically not able to move the way we used to. Maybe our gait's a little bit slower. Or we're asking the same questions. Okay. So our neuroplasticity is not able to decipher the kind of information that's really important.
Reacting as well and instant recall and those kinds of things that we usually have.
Exactly. It needs to be able to call on that reserve to be able to make decisions, to remember things, to move our bodies.
Okay. So what's the role of cognitive research and neuroplasticity, and why is it important to our overall health?
Well, because the cognitive reserve is tapped into the hippocampus, which actually is that center where we hold all of our memories. Now, the things that we do during the day or the kind of activities that we do to stretch ourselves, like we do our muscles, for that matter, is what we use to live your life, right? So we need to be preparing and strengthening that because when we do have the onset of disease, see what happens is that you could have two people with the same diagnosis, and you'll notice that one will go downhill so much faster, but the other one won't. And it's because they've built that reserve. So that reserve builds our quality of life, keeps us living longer, thwarts off disease so much faster than... It's just very important.
There it is.
What can I say?
Can people, if I'm having neuroplasticity issues, if I'm having those kind of, are there things I can do to regain it or rebuild it or improve it? Or is it just one of those, I can slow the decline, but I'm going in this direction no matter what?
You could definitely slow it, and you can definitely protect yourself from it. So it's the things that we do in our daily lives, you know, the 6 pillars of health, you know, our exercise, nutrition, mood management, how do we stretch our brains? We have to be able to do things that are going to give us that critical thinking experience. And you'll notice that people that have higher education, stayed at their jobs longer, are very active socially, they're always engaged. Those are the ones that last longer because their brain is constantly having to decipher what's going on.
Yeah, problem solve and all those kinds of things.
Problem solving, learning a new language, instrument, a dance. You think about it, if you're dancing, you got to remember the steps. Then you got to make sure that you're not running into people.
That's not my problem, I don't dance, but.
I know, right.
So should people take an account of like, what's going on? Because you're like, hey, I've started to forget things, or I'm not as physically active as I was, or I can't make these steps, or I used to be able to do 2 stairs at a time, and now I'm having struggling. Right. Should people kind of come with a kind of a list of things that they're having challenges with in order to be able to, okay, here's how we're going to solve A, B, and C?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because what we do in the class is we figure out how do we set up this infrastructure of who we are. So it's very important to be aware. We have to be aware of, do we have high blood pressure, low blood, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, things like that. Our knees are bothering us, our feet are bothering us, all the different things that could be going on. We have to take an active role in managing those things because the memory could be affected by that or medications that we're taking. It might not have a decrease in the brain or the hippocampus. It might be that antidepressant, or maybe you're taking too much of that Tylenol PM, right? That is making us sluggish.
Okay.
So yes,
Okay.
you can do all of these things and build that up so you can stay healthier.
I want to make sure people know it's June 8th at 10 a.m. It's going to be My Brain Health Plan and Building Your Personalized Roadmap. Of course, Deborah's going to be leading that one.
Yeah.
And it's going to be over at Clubhouse 3 and Dining Room 2, so make sure you make note of that. People, is it free to everybody? Do they need to make a reservation?
No, just come on down.
Come on down.
Yeah, just come on down. Yeah, we were having about 50 people.
Okay.
To between 50 and 70.
Mm-hmm.
There's refreshments there. There's also going to be a trust attorney there just to help anybody that has any questions.
All right. You had me at refreshments.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and can I just make one plug for the people coming on next?
Sure.
Reading is one of the #1 things that you could possibly do to build your cognitive reserve.
The library folks, thank you.
Yes, they're
Absolutely.
going to be here.
What's the value of setting SMART goals? Capital SMART.
Okay, well, SMART goals, sustainable, manageable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound.
Okay.
All that means is don't just say I'm going to go for a walk for 30 minutes a couple days a week. Okay, you'll never do it.
Okay.
Those days a week come and go. So what we have to do is we have to say, on Saturday, I'm going to walk from 9:30 to 10, and Sunday, same thing, or Monday, or whatever days of the week.
Yeah.
We have to set very specific
So people should
goals.
schedule these things. Like even put it in your phone. Like everybody has a smartphone that has a scheduler, right?
Yes.
Like make an alarm, make it
Yes.
one day advance. Hey, you're walking tomorrow, kind of thing. Should people go that far with it?
Absolutely, because if you don't, you'll just, maybe that day you're going to feel tired. And you're going to, I'll just do it later. And then later comes, and you're like, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then we know how that goes. Tomorrow comes, and it's like, oh, well, I missed it the first day. Well, I'll start next week.
It's like you're reading my mind.
I know.
I do that all the time.
Who doesn't do that?
Who doesn't do that, right?
Yeah, right. But this can work for everything in your life.
Is there a distinction between, I can't remember where I put my keys, oh yeah, there they are, and I can't remember where I put my keys, oh yeah, there they are, but one of them is starting at that beginning of cognitive decline, and the other one's just I misplaced my keys.
Oh yeah, well that's just normal age-related changes.
But as you get older, I mean, I start to think that is that because I can't remember things as well as I used to anymore, or is like how,
because
are there signs for that?
Well, we're living in a very high distractible world, so we never know what's going to happen when we walk in the door. We have groceries, got our keys in our hand. We know we're going to put our keys away, but we forget, and the phone rings or whatever.
Okay.
Right? So things can happen that way. The things that you need to be concerned about is that if you put things away or you hide things because you're afraid that somebody's going to steal something from you, or somebody's asking you something, or you're continuing to ask the same questions.
Okay, so those are the signs. You're going to start noticing these patterns, right? It's not just a one-timer thing every once in a while kind of thing.
No, not at all. But the thing you need to realize is that we're all going to forget names. We're going to forget things.
Right.
But if you can't remember them at all, there's an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's your? It's Deborah Moore. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Deborah Morse. I was pretending to forget. The Brain Club. Everybody come out. Put the flyer up on the screen one more time. June 8th, 10 a.m. over at Clubhouse 3, Dining Room 2. Folks, get out there and get your brain fit. If you're interested in healthy aging, if you're interested in getting these great advice, building your own personal health plan. Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Library Club's coming up next. I didn't forget them either. All right, here we go.
Isn't that funny, though?